Hi everyone, I'm White Rakogis and welcome to my first Papercraft video. Today I'm going to introduce you to the basics of Papercraft and I'm going to walk you through building a simple model. I've got a template right here and it's ultimately going to look something like this. Now this, of course, trivially simple. This is actually a piece of a much larger, much more complicated model, but very straightforward. We'll learn a lot of the basics by walking through this. So let's get started. One thing that's important for any model is the order you're building pieces. It's very important. I mean, in this case, you can see the pieces are numbered. Which will tell me which order to build them in. But more often than not, there aren't any numbers. So generally, you want to start with the piece that has the most tabs. In that case, piece 24 here has tabs all the way around, except for one little spot. So that will be our starting piece. Okay, let's get started. I'm cutting the piece with my X-Acto knife very carefully on all the tabs. Be careful, knives are sharp. Do not try this at home. Well, actually that kind of defeats the purpose, so please do try this at home. So on, so forth. Yep. And there's the first piece. Okay, here's the piece again. You might see I got a little extra white on the edge right down here. In this case, I'll just grab my scissors and trim that off. X-Acto knives are more precise than scissors and can be quicker for getting around lots of tiny tabs like around the edges there, but sometimes you still need scissors because they are more accurate for like cleaning up pieces. And of course you can build the entire model with scissors if you don't have a craft knife handy. I actually did that on a lot of my models. I've really only started using the knife recently. So, one little piece of advice I have, get Papercraft Viewer. It gives you all very detailed instructions, very, very helpful. With it, you really don't need a lot of written instructions specific to the model. But in this case, I've dealt with pieces like this a million times, so I know what needs to be done here. The tab is the same length as that flat surface. Here I fold over the tab and fold this, and I have one cap of the piece. So now I get some glue. May be tempted to use a glue stick. Really not a good idea. Glue sticks don't hold well over time. Neither do washable glues. And with that, I have the first piece built. Now that I have the first piece built, I'm going to move on to the second piece. Once again, cutting it with my knife. Now I can tell this is the second piece because of the number 25 by it, but at the same time, this piece is logically located right next to piece 24. Most designers put the patterns together very efficiently, so pieces that go together are placed together where possible. Okay, now I'm not gonna walk. Now, yeah, to save time, I'm just gonna cut ahead a little bit. Okay, so now through the magic of the pause recording feature, I now have the second piece all cut out. In this case, I know how it goes together because I built the other one already, but if you look closely, you can see the seam where I glued them together. Seams are very good for keeping track of what angle pieces have to be glued on. In fact, a lot of designers design so that the seams line up. I fold the tab over. Take a little spot of glue. Wipe off because I got a little too much glue there. And I push it down. And now I let it dry. It's better to let that one piece dry because if I try to glue the next tab right away, my attempts to push it down might cause it to come loose from the first tab. Usually, a lot of the time, it's a good idea to let one tab dry before wrapping it around and doing the rest of them. So once again, I'll stop the video. Okay, so I paused the recording for a minute or so just to give it a chance to dry. Now we can glue the other tabs and start wrapping it around. The key to getting a nice, smooth, finished model is the folding, or lack thereof. I only fold the tabs. I generally only fold the colored sections of the model if I actually have to build something at a rather extreme angle. By doing it this way, this is the trick to building lineless and making it look good. Just bend, not glue, not fold, rely on the natural fold of the paper. Just this right here to get rid of that ugly white spot. I mean, you're not going to get rid of them all, but want to get rid of what you can. Some people recommend Papercraft's edge padding feature for getting rid of those white spots, but I personally find it just screws up the angles a little bit too much, makes it more difficult to be precise, but personal preference. And there we have it. Two pieces glued. The tweezers are very helpful for applying extra pressure. Now let's get the third piece. I'm gonna just do that off camera, save time. Okay, so now I have piece 3 cut out. Once again, I follow the seams. Now, I mean, this isn't a hard and fast rule. The seam you don't always follow precisely, but a lot of the times the models are designed that way. Usually a mark of a good designer. Even in the cases where the seam doesn't line up completely, which can happen in some cases, the angles of the pieces make it impossible to unfold that way. You can still tell how many tabs apart the seam is on Papercraft Reviewer and use that to make sure you're attaching in the right place at the right angle. So this piece goes a lot like the last one. Just attach it and wrap it around. Can use a little moisture to get rid of that excess glue there. Now, and yeah, I guess this is starting to get a little repetitive. I'll skip forward again, but still. A lot of pieces like this are a bit repetitive. Okay, so the next piece, pretty much the same, so I'm just going to attach that one off camera. Okay, 4 pieces down, 1 more to go. Now comes the point where we close the model. Closing is difficult for any model. Right here, the piece only has 1 tab, and it attaches to itself in much the same way as the first piece, so we're good for now. If the model had more than 1 tab that attaches to the rest of the model, and you're trying to close with that piece, then you could be in a little bit of trouble. So for this one, let's start. I didn't quite trim this enough, so let's there we go. Now fold it down, glue the tab, fold it over, I can wrap it around just like the rest of the pieces. In fact, if it wasn't so much of an angle, I probably would have done that. But in this case, it's a little easier to just pop it on like a cap. If it was an almost flat piece here, I would glue it to one of the inside tabs, fold it over, let that dry, then use that as a hinge to get the rest of it folded over. If I had one tab on the edge of the model, I'm still okay. I could just glue that tab on the inside and hinge on the rest of it. In this case, though, because it's a cap, because of the angle I'm building at, I can do it this way, which is, if you ask me, the easiest way. There, glue applied all around, and just pop it on, pull it over the white, bit more down here, and basically just keep until, there we go. I now have 2 of these, which is what I needed. This was a little, whatever, won't matter when I build it. So there you have it, the basics of Papercraft. And I think that pretty much covers it for now. I've got my model built, or my piece of the model built. Next I just have to attach it to the rest, and thanks for watching. If you want more videos, please subscribe, like, and all that other stuff. You can also find me online on DeviantArt and Facebook under the name Rakogis Papercraft. Please stop on by if you want to see a lot of my models, or if you have any suggestions for future videos. I'd certainly love to hear them, because even I don't know what I'm going to do for the next video. Please suggest something. Okay, well, that's it. Bye.